Oh.
Right.
Oh, I know. I did too. I
Washing yourself later.
just put straight white over it.
Almost have that background covered. You got 2 more minutes. That's so quick. Background in.
Preston, you just go do your own, okay?
And we're just using a really light blue here. Wait, marbling
Oh. Hey, Chip, Donna said you muted her.
Who?
Donna just texted me, said you muted her. Donna's muted?
Oh,
Or no?
Donna. Yeah, Donna. Let me see. I thought I unmuted everybody. Can you push the mute button, Donna? I'll unmute this. Did that help? I'm pushing mute, unmute. You know what? Oh, there you go. Can you see now?
There we go.
Okay, you got it.
Anybody else? Did anybody else get muted? Maybe you're on purpose. Wave your hand if you're muted. Oh, you're muted. Goodness. About that. Let me see if I can unmute you, Lily. Jessica. I'm trying to unmute. There you go. Why not? Hey. How are you guys doing? You sound fine? All right. If anybody else needs me to unmute them, let me know. Okay. All right. Over here.
What are we doing?
Something else that we're going to be needing too for the stencil is a pencil or a pen. So if you have one in the house somewhere, you might want to get that. You can either get it now or in a little bit. We're not there yet, but once we have the background painted, which we don't have all the extra colors in there, but this side right here where the butterfly is going to go, let's just not paint any more on that section so that it can dry. So when we go to trace the stencil, it'll be dry enough. So our pen will work. Okay. All right.
What happened?
Still see paintbrush is going. We're gonna give you guys another minute here.
Not in this one. That's in
Like this?
That's soda. No. Here, stop. There's some water for you. No. Yeah.
You need another one?
All right.
Here you go, Bree.
Everybody
Here.
get
Right here.
Most of your product of my friend.
I'm not sure now.
So, if you want this color?
Yeah, we'll have to do something different.
Okay. So while I'm waiting, who's kind of ready for some more colors? I'm mixing a teal here. If anybody wants to do it with
So
me.
what's it? What color? What's the teal colors do you mix with teal?
I'm doing dark green, or the green that we have, green and blue mixed together. If you already have teal, then that's perfect. But if you want to make it with me, you pull a little bit of white into it as well, and it'll brighten it up a little bit. So a little bit of green, a little bit of blue, a little bit of white. A touch of white, really. And a pretty good amount of that teal too. So mixing it up here. And I already need some more white.
Seems to be taking a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's up. That's okay. That's
Mom,
okay.
you're just gonna like cover that up.
We will be pouring some black later too for accents. I didn't pour black with you guys, so that'll come next, but not right now. All right. Okay, so we're gonna kind of pull in some color into our background. And like I was saying, kind of look at the layout of your painting and see where your butterfly is gonna go. We don't want a whole lot of color behind that butterfly. So you might wanna get your stencil and just make sure, and just kind of eye it wherever you wanna put your stencil at. Huh? Oh,
Over there.
and then, let's see here. So if we hold it up here, I know that I have plenty of room to switch some color through this side. So we're going to add gentle, like just pastel almost colors in here. We're gonna keep it really light now for this first part, okay? So we don't wanna go heavy with the colors. We're gonna mix it with a little bit of white. Let's start with a little bit of the teal. If you have, does everybody have some teal on their palette now?
Yeah.
Teal? Okay, so we're gonna touch a little bit of teal onto our brush, okay? And then we're going to add a little bit of white to that as well. And we're not going to paint over this spot where our stencil is going to be. We're gonna let that dry for now, I'm just reiterating. And then we're gonna go to this portion here. We're gonna start pulling through a little bit of the teal through that white that you put in there, just a little bit. Okay. If it gets too strong, you can pull a little bit of white over it. We just want it to spray, so we want to kind of wisp it from this corner over here. It's kind of like, it's not really the corner, a little, maybe like go 2 inches out from the corner, this right-hand corner. Start there and go off to the left and up. So we're kind of swooping our colors.
Awesome.
Okay. If you feel like you have too strong of a color, get some white and you can go right over it to lighten it up. Okay.
Do we take it all the way to the top?
You can, you don't have to, just kind of put it in there. We want to have it fade out a little bit. I just want a little spray of it in there. So don't put a lot. We don't have to worry about this top corner yet, okay? Left hand,
Okay.
top corner, we're not doing that yet. So we don't have to go all the way up there. Just gonna add a little more white in there so my purple will pop.
Like this.
That's pretty heavy.
Yeah, that's fine, but let me show you. Look at mommy's cookies.
So again, everybody's gonna be a little different, and mine's gonna be a little bit different than my sample too. Every time I do it, it's always something different. Okay. So I'm gonna watch. Did you have a question? Okay. Anybody have a question? I'm gonna wash off my brush now. Wash that teal off my brush.
Spread it out.
I'm gonna dry it so that the water doesn't mix with the paint. And we're gonna add some purple tints in there as well. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of purple on my brush, a little bit of white as well, so it stays muted. It's just kind of marbled on there.
I'll get it.
Purple and white, yep. And we're gonna start, we don't wanna overpower any of the other colors. We're just gonna kind of touch it in. Now, keep in mind, my brush, if I want it to lay on very softly, I'm going to angle my brush. Almost like line it up with the canvas. Don't point it at the canvas. If you're pointing it at the canvas, your bristles are gonna be really blunt. You're gonna have some blunt ends. So if you just tilt your brush to go right alongside your canvas there, and you can pull up really gently.
Stop, you're gonna knock
And
my
it should go in there nice and smooth. Now, if you want your purple to stand out and you don't want to make brown, I wouldn't do too many pass-throughs. Like, don't pull through a whole lot. Just kind of pull it a few times.
Your purple, add some purple, Dean.
Not my man.
You know, I'm purple.
And you can do a couple different places, have the purple kind of popping in a few different places. So I'd like lay it on kind of thick at first, and then I'll pull over it. So I'll kind of sweep through it a few times to blend it. So it might come in thick the first time.
No, let mine dry and I'm gonna add the color.
Good job.
I'm gonna try to.
Mommy, look what I did.
Well, everyone.
So how far are you going up, Jerry?
So we're not going to, we want to stay really light with our colors right now. We're not going all the way up to the top. We don't have to go up there yet. I'm kind of just paying attention to this area right here, right below the butterfly. Okay. So we want some of this color kind of
I tried.
spraying.
It's so pretty,
Different touches of purple through here. Very muted, light.
I'll do the same later, Brayden.
And this is kind of where the abstract fill, you just kind of go with it. Kind of go with the flow. We might have to add a little more white in there. We're going to go ahead and add a little bit of blue, light blue as well. So just get some of your blue and some of your white together. And we're going to do a few pure blue pass-throughs.
We're gonna add a little bit more blue and
Well,
white.
you know when to click on it.
Yep.
Oh, Jerry,
Yeah.
Felicia muted. She wants you to unmute her.
Goodness. And I think I pushed unmute for everybody. Okay. Wonder why it keeps muting everyone. We're going to figure this out one of these days, y'all.
I think it's just gonna print the numbers though.
Where's the blue going? I'm not sure. I didn't get that.
There's no.
No, yeah. It's going on top of the other colors a little bit.
I'm just waiting. I'm sure.
You know, add a little white to it.
Hey, Cherry,
Yes.
Donna's asking a question.
Oh, so sorry. Hold on. I was just reminding somebody.
That's okay. I can wait. I didn't catch where you were putting the blue.
Okay.
They can unmute themselves. You don't have to unmute all of them.
Right. I think you can manually unmute yourself, you guys. If you
Yeah, you can't.
Down
You
in the
can't.
corner.
You can, but mine, when I unmuted mine, it said the host had muted me. So sometimes.
Rude.
I pushed unmute a few times. I don't know if that means I
I'm
muted
okay
everybody.
now, I think, but I'm not sure.
It might have been a toggle.
It could have been. I had somebody that did drop off earlier that's having issues. So hopefully this is recording. I think it is. So that's for you, Tracy. I hope that we can have you join here in a minute, but if not, we'll have a recording for you. All right. So, yep, I'm just pulling through some blue, and Donna. Here, I'm going to pull this up closer so you can kind of see. Do you see where there's some pure blue in here? Just kind of wisping through.
That's mine. Oh, it broke.
So here's the sample, and there's just a few wisps of that blue coming through by the purple. Okay. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Oh, maybe I do it this way.
I don't know. Try it. See if I can.
I'm back. I'm back.
Oh no.
Oh
We're just doing the background right now.
Hi, Jack.
Hi. Oh, hey, Jack. How are ya? Hey. I heard ya. Uh-huh. I'm just coming in here to see if the master has the art piece done yet or not.
We're all done, Jack.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Jack.
Hey, Terry.
Hey, Jack, good to hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh, I see you. Oh, I see a hand.
Okay, here. You can see me, but I'm upside down.
Unpack your face.
Wait, come back. I was gonna take a picture. I wasn't fast enough. Okay. So we're just kind of pulling in a few colors down here.
What color are we doing now?
So I was still working on some blue, but what we're gonna do next is add, let's start some pink. Okay? And this will kind of be a two-part process, filling in. We can fill in some more colors as it dries too, because I think that some of the colors get muted in that wet background. So
Yeah.
I'm washing my brush off.
Okay, well,
Are we washing our brush?
I'm gonna wash the brush off, and I'm gonna put a little bit of pink in here.
If you put like dye in the colors, would that still work?
That's kind of bluish.
So I'm just pulling a little bit of pink in here at the bottom left-hand corner. I'm gonna put some muted pink, some pink and white together, make it a little lighter pink. You can pull it through some of the background here. Really lightly. I would suggest not to push very hard. It's almost like it just kind of grazes the canvas. And obviously keep it in line with the canvas when you're pulling it hard.
You tell him, Oliver. You too, Lydia.
That was a good idea.
Yeah.
so it's all the way to in the left corner? The
Yeah,
pink,
there's a big splash over here. And then if you want to make a few lighter, like mix some of the pink with white, and then make a few in the middle of the canvas. Kind of come through. I think
Besides.
one hand. No.
You said the corner, and
I
then
just
just
put up, like it's brighter in the corner here, and then you kind of do more pastels in the middle as you move further up.
I'm not that good at painting.
Who is?
Sure you are. No judgment zone here. It takes practice. I know it's a little different. Do you draw more?
No. This just sounded really fun.
I'm so glad you're here. Yeah.
It is fun. Hey, I'm looking at that going, oh, this is crazy.
Okay. When you're done adding in some of the pink, we can wash your brush again. Okay. All right. So here's where it kind of gets a little more bold with our colors. Okay, we're gonna be streaking the color down from the left-hand corner into the picture. Okay. So I'm gonna show you the sample up close. Some of you might have it on another device that you can look at too for reference. Might be kind of smart to have it there. But do you see here, up in this corner, it's like it's raining colors coming down, okay? So we're starting in this top left-hand corner, and it's gonna kind of move to center almost like it's coming in, not straight down, we're kind of moving toward the center, okay? And what I do with my brush, I'm using my larger flat top brush, and so do whatever you feel comfortable handling, but I like it because it gives me nice swoops and I can pull off of my canvas to make it sharp. You want a sharp edge when you come off. So like I'll put a little bit of teal blue in there, and I'll come down, and then I'll pull up when I want it to be like the sharp edges, okay? And we're gonna kind of zigzag up and down all the way down.
Do you do it flat, the flat side of the brush?
I'm using that little flat top brush, but I'm gonna hold it to where it's really skinny. See that thin? You can either do it fat.
Yep, that's
skinny.
what I was wondering. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would tilt it toward the middle and then pull up when you get to the end of your strokes, okay? So that it comes off the canvas.
Okay.
So we're starting with teal?
We can let's start with blue, okay? We're gonna start with blue or teal. If you have teal on your brush, that's fine. Just add a little bit of blue on there. They're all gonna merge together. These colors are gonna become kind of intermingled. All right, so I'm starting with blue. We don't really have to tone this down any. We're just gonna go ahead and start practicing. Maybe if you want to start with a little area and see if you can get that real crispy, fine look at the end there. See that? You may have to use your brush both ways, but when you come to the end where you want to make this a really fine point, you will turn your brush vertical. If that makes sense. So we don't want a solid layer of blue. We want to pull in some of that deeper blue here and there. So we want to just add touches here and there. If you add too much in there, it's fine. We can paint over it in a minute. So just starting with a little bit of blue. The longest streaks are going to be up here in this corner. And then as you go down the canvas, down the side of the canvas, we're going to make them a little shorter in length. Okay. That's blue for now. Yep.
What are you doing, Tom? Good morning.
I have quite a few sprays of color in there with that blue.
How far down do you take it? Midway of the canvas?
I went down actually almost to where I put that pink here in the corner. Just a few little sprays. You don't have to. I'm going to be going over it with some teal in a minute too. So yeah, but I went down. So this is where we're going to kind of change up the color a little bit. I'm going to do a mix, that teal mixture, if you want to use that, or if you want to just use blue and green together without any white. That'll give you a deeper teal.
And doing the same thing, right? The side?
Yeah, now
Okay.
be careful, it might not pop very well yet, so hold on a second. I think we need to do a little bit of, let's do that teal that we had before with the white in it. And you have to kind of have it thick on your brush for it to stand out against that blue, but just have it popping in here and there. I'm just kind of pulling it through every other blue streak that I did earlier, maybe in between them. No right or wrong here. Just kind of pop it in wherever you feel like it can go and have fun with it. Just trying to fill it in with some color. And again, make sure it's a little zigzaggy. Some lines are going to be a little longer than others, and that helps it to not look so uniform. And this does come in layers, so.
More green.
Mine looks weird. Whoa.
Probably more tissue here.
No. No, don't touch mine. You need more paper?
Oh, me? Yeah.
Look, son.
Right.
Son.
So now I'm very gently, I'm going to go over some of my blue with a little bit of white because I don't have a lot of area for other colors to pop through. So I'm just gonna pull a little bit of white through here to lighten it up. I'm not gonna bring it to the edge of my color. I'm just gonna put it up at the top corner where I need some more white. just a little bit. If you need some, go ahead and do it with me. Layers of white in there. I feel like you got too much blue in there. This is nice to add a little light highlight in there. How is your background doing? Is your background for the butterfly, is it kind of drying? Test it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Hopefully mine has a few wet spots, but it's not too bad.
I feel like I messed up.
Oh no. What? Who's that?
Jade, I just feel like I messed up, kind of.
Oh.
Mine don't.
So what part are you concerned with? Like the purple or?
Like, I feel like up here looks bad, and like, yeah, I don't know, I just feel like I messed up.
Let me know. Are you already traced out your butterfly, right?
Yeah, but I accidentally covered up some of it, so I was hoping to like kind of move it down like here.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
our butterfly.
I would say don't even worry about where the I would add a little bit more white streaks in there, maybe into that purple. Pull through light highlights. That will help.
Okay.
And then where's the corner where you're going to do? Did you decide where you're going to do your sprays of color coming from? Because like you had your butterfly.
I was thinking like here.
Yeah, that'll be nice. So I think that it all looks really purple from here, but and like some blue highlights through.
It is.
Maybe if you pull a little bit of it looks pretty though. I like the color of purple that you have. So if you just pull a few streaks of like light through it just here and there. So you want to alternate them. Like pull every couple of inches, pull a little bit more purple, and then do a few pass-throughs to blend it a little bit. But you want some of the white to show, okay? You're doing good. No stress here.
Thank you.
That one's better. No. On yours only.
I look this like this picture, that's for sure.
Okay, so once we have those, that's kind of our background over here. You might want to go ahead and pull a little bit of white through. We're going to have some bright pink come in a little bit once it dries. But who added white on that corner? Did anybody else do that with me?
I did.
A few of them on there if you haven't. A few little. And, that'll help us add some pink later, and the pink will really stand out on that white. So I'm going to wash off my brush. And we're going to work on our stencil now if your background is dry enough. If it is not, maybe we can wave a paper plate at it. You do want it to be dry enough so you can see the outline of your stencil. Wave at it.
Here, you want a butterfly? Butterfly.
Which actually the seat's been. But that's okay.
Oh,
You want us to trace it now?
If it is dry, you can.
Right.
Okay, cool. So put it where you want it. And go ahead and trace it on there. I'm still waiting for mine here.
Son, no. Are you done?
Okay.
Bring a chair.
All right.
Well, here. So, if I was you,
I just need a chair.
I know, hold on.
No!
attempt to do mine as well. So are you guys all doing your stencil? I'm gonna try.
Yeah, I'm doing mine.
Awesome. I'm angling it to, it's kind of at an angle, if you see, like it's flying up to that color.
Both of your hands.
Want it to be a little bit bigger, you just gotta go outside. Everything about the same. There you go. There you go.
We'll have to do some of that.
All right. I made mine a little bit bigger than my stencil because I think I had 2 butterflies.
It looks like I got too much heel or something in mine. Here.
All right.
I can hear you. Come on. Ooh, did Donna leave?
I'm here.
Oh, you here? Okay.
It's just my palette, I'm not dry.
Oh, okay, I see you
Okay,
now.
okay. You might get away with, is it paper or did you do like a card?
It's a thicker piece.
Okay.
No,
Well,
no,
it's up to you if it's dry enough. Mine was a little bit wet too. It just depends on how wet it is. But I went ahead and outlined it still, and some of it I can just see the outline in the paint. But we'll give you another few minutes, so you're good.
I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just so you can see a trace on there. So
You want to paint some more? You want to paint some more?
So the butterfly, we're going to do it in layers. So we have to just kind of be small with our strokes of color. We're not going to like cover the whole thing. At first, we're just going to start in little sections and start filling it up, okay, with color. And we don't want to start with black. That's why we don't have black on our palette yet. We'll finish with black because otherwise your colors are going to get needed by that black. The black takes over.
Which brush are you using?
For me, you might want to go to your smaller square top brush. I'm
Like this one?
with my larger one for now because mine is such a large canvas. So whatever brush, a medium-sized brush might work for your size. Okay. Ready? Who's ready for the butterfly?
Me.
Okay. I'll have it on there.
What? And what color?
All right. So let's go ahead and start with some teal. Okay. And we're going to start when we do, let me just pull, I'm going to pull this forward so you can see up close, see it a little bit better. But if you see the butterfly, when we're starting, we're always going to start down here by his body. Okay, here's his body. So this wing right here, I'm going to start here with my stroke and I'm going to kind of go out and in again. I'm not going to just, you want to start in one section and kind of make the colors go with the wing. Okay, so this wing right over here, we're going to draw a line in here in a minute, and you'll know that this one is coming from the body and it's going to come out this way. Okay, so we want to make sure that our paintbrush is making those sweeps in the right direction so that whoever looks at the painting will know, oh, this wing is over here and this wing is like back behind. Okay, so remember that we'll always start down at the body and we're kind of moving out with the wing. Okay, so let's go ahead with our pen. Grab your pen and we're going to do a line. We're going to actually separate these two wings. Okay, so I want you to find where the head is and kind of go. You can do a little circle there if you want. You can make a circle. We're gonna be painting over all of it, so I'm just gonna kind of do a little circle where I know where his head is. I'm gonna go in a little bit. So down just a little bit further from the head is where we're gonna start our wing. Do you see this part of the wing that kind of, I don't know if you can see that.
Yes.
No. Okay, let me hold on. So we're just going to connect, we're going to make this line with our pin. So do you see this part of the wing that kind of goes out toward the top? See that? So you have your wing that's in the back, right? And then you have where this front wing, the wing that's closest to us, starts. I want us to draw that line in there, okay? So connect that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Can I see your picture? Drawing it?
This one, or I don't know if you can see my line in there though. It's too dark.
You can't see your line.
We'll bring this one closer again.
Yeah.
So we want to start a little below his head and then make that line come up to this section here. This section on your stencil. It just needs to connect and kind of bow out and then meet his body. So you kind of go up and then curve back to this line. So find that line and just connect those two. Okay, connect the body to that part of the wing that flies out here to the corner. Okay. Does everybody have that line in there?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're starting a little below the head again. You're gonna go up and then bring it back in. Okay.
You can jump on here.
All right.
Doesn't matter.
You're on the line for the body.
Yay! Yay! Yay!
So we're gonna go back to our brush, whichever one you want to use to start out with. If you need to trade brushes because you're just too big, you can. I'm gonna start with some teal on mine. And I'm gonna start with this wing that's back behind, okay? And I just wanna do a few, kind of like we did up here, make it very wispy with the lines. Here, I'm gonna bring it up close when I do this. Maybe it'll help a little bit. We're just kind of pulling in a few wisps of color. See how I'm trying to keep it really sharp here. I don't want it to be blunt on the ends. So just pulling in a few sweeps of color there. Trying to stay within the line of the butterfly, the stencil. Okay. Remember, you're going with the shape of the wing, right? Okay. We're going to pull, I did not wash my brush off. I'm just adding a little bit of blue to the brush, okay? And then I'm gonna start pulling down into this green, just a little bit of the blue. So I started up here and I'm pulling it down a little bit. A little bit of blue in there. Kind of want it to blend, so you might have to sweep over everything, but you should see a mixture of colors kind of pulling through. You can add a little bit of white in there if you feel like it's too dark. So what I did, whoops, I'm gonna drop that. Hold on. Sorry. I'm gonna drop my painting. What I did, once I put the green in there, okay, I started with that, sorry, I started with teal. I started with some teal out here, and then I went ahead and put some blue on my brush, and I brought some blue into it. And then I put some white on the edge of my brush, just a little bit, and I pulled a little bit over some of this. So it's just kind of highlights it a little bit. Okay. So if you're really quickly, if your background is kind of loud with any distractions, you might want to mute yourself. Okay, just so everybody can hear the instructions.
You can add white later to that corner.
Okay, so we're just gonna pull, mostly the blue and green is down below here. So we're just gonna stay kind of low with it, okay? All right, we're gonna go ahead and move to the wing that's closest to us. And we're gonna put a little bit of color in this wing. Now, remember, let me show you with the sample.
Okay, look, honey.
With this wing, we're going to start from the body and kind of pull out with the wing, with the shape of the wing. We're not going to pull the same direction as the first wing. So remember, we're pulling straight out, okay?
And what color?
We're gonna start with that teal again, and then we'll move to some blue. So I have that teal on here.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Did you see? Put those darker wisps in. That was pretty. Keep doing that. I love it. Little wisps, baby. Little lines. Little wispy. There you go. Like that.
All right. Okay, the further that we go down, okay, so sorry, we added teal. I have some blue that's popping out on my brush. I had some blue. So if you want to add a little bit of blue in there like we did the first time, kind of pulling it down into the teal, kind of have to work it in really gently to do that. Mine was on my brush a little bit, so I have some in there.
Yeah. Teal and green. Teal, pink and purple.
Okay.
Yeah. These three colors.
Adding some blue in there. Very lightly. Okay. So we're just trying to fill in some color. Don't be too concerned with it not looking perfect yet, because the black really will help to pull the whole butterfly together, but we're gonna wait on that. So now on this bottom section here, I want to remember that this little section of the wing, this one, we're gonna have to go down to the right, okay? So we're not, make sure we're starting from the middle of the butterfly and sweeping down, okay? Does that make sense? We're gonna start again with some teal and some blue. I've kind of marbled it on my brush here, so I have some teal, you can see that. Teal and some solid blue in there. And we're gonna start again from the middle and pull out. Down toward
Don't worry if it doesn't look perfect.
this bottom wing here.
Fix it later.
Again, if it feels too dark, add a little bit of white on the edge of your brush and then kind of sweep it through very gently. It'll add a little highlight in there.
Now do this part. Now do the bottom part. See the other part of that wing? Don't worry about filling in the whole thing yet. I'm not.
So just adding little touches of white in there, not to overpower it, just very gently touch it in, just a tiny little bit. All right. So next, go ahead and, if you want to wash that teal off, we're gonna do some solid blue up at the top of the wings.
I already did solid. Ooh, that looks good, Celeste. I like it. Dark blue mix.
Wash off your brush and then dry it.
So do the
Okay,
dark
we'll start from the top here.
top of your other one. There you go.
Remember, go with the shape of the wing again. So we're starting on this wing that's furthest back. Can you guys hear me well still? You guys
Yeah, much better.
Yeah, yeah.
Whoops. All right. So we're just kind of pulling in the blue from the top of the wing here. I'm really not concerned with the detail, you know, if it's jagged up at the top or not. I do have some blunt ends right now, but I think that black is going to, when I start doing the detail brush with the black, it'll hide all the blunt ends there. What I'm more concerned about is that the blue looks like it's kind of sharp coming through the middle. So keep an area in between the teal and the blue where it's kind of white, so we can add some flares of pink and purple.
Uh-oh, okay.
Leave some white parts so we can add pink and purple. But
And if you don't have, if you didn't create any, we can actually, or leave any, we can create some with the white too. So
did you hear that? Yeah. Create some for white.
We'll create some in a minute. Yeah, I'll need some too.
You stop leaning against that, buddy. She needs that.
So I'm just pulling in a few different sweeps of blue here at the top, at the tips of all the wings here.
How close to the edge are you coming to? Very close to the edge?
I am. I'm actually going right up to the edge of it. You can see it's a little blunt for now, and that's okay. We're gonna sharpen the edges, you know, in a minute with that black. So I'm not too worried about it. But come up to the edge of the stencil line.
It's hard, isn't it? It looks good, Celeste.
Are we doing the top of it all blue?
Pretty much. We're going to leave a few empty spaces here and there down toward the bottom where you can put some pink all the way up. So don't do a solid blue. Maybe just leave a few empty spaces. Okay?
Okay.
So once you've kind of put your blue touches in there, we can, we're going to go ahead and get a little bit of teal for the bottom half of the wings here. So over here in the bottom corner here, this wing that's tilted down toward the bottom of your canvas, we're going to pull a little bit of the teal through here. Okay, and you might pull a little bit of white into it to highlight it if it's not showing up.
I don't know what I'm doing.
So I'm just putting some teal touches in there, and if it feels too dark, add some white. Okay.
It is hard, isn't it? That's why we're persevering. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and pull some, maybe a few touches of purple in here. So wash off your brush from that teal and blue. Get a little bit of purple on there. Just gonna pull a little bit through. Depends on what color you really want to show up, because you can make your butterfly have a lot more purple in it if you would like. But I just want to put a little bit in there. Just a few touches here and there, wherever you would like some, a pop of color there. Okay. Put some in there. There wasn't a lot of purple on my sample, so I'm gonna go ahead and wash my brush off now. I just added a few touches of purple in there. And I'm gonna go to pink and white.
I guess I missed your purples.
Oh, okay. Well, I just
let's
pulled a
see
little bit of purple in here, not much. Just kind of toward the end. Just pulled a little bit of color.
Got it. And did you sweep from the outside in or the inside out?
I went from the outside in. Good question. Kind of pulled it into the other colors very gently. So I have a solid pink on my brush right now, but in a minute I'll be pulling a little bit of white in there as well. But let's go ahead and do solid pink so it's brighter. We'll start up here at the top. And it depends on the type of pink that you do have, that you might need a little bit of white to cover the background. But we're just gonna kind of wisp it in between the colors. You don't want to make a bunch of pass-throughs, because the more pass-throughs you have, it will make the pink not as bright. So I'm gonna test it out and see if it's showing up good. You have to wait a minute if it's not showing up. Okay, so I have some pink in there. I'm gonna add a little bit of white to the tip of my brush, not very much. Take a little bit of that off.
What happens if my pink ain't showing up at all?
Your pink is not showing up?
Yeah.
Let me see it. You know what, you may need to do a few pass-throughs of white in there and then let it dry for a minute. So put a few, yeah, just add some more white in there where you want the pink to go. And then in a minute, we'll come back and add some more pink on top of that white, okay? I'm adding a little bit of white to my pink to brighten it up. Be really careful or you will go too far with it. We're just wiggling it in there. A lot of layers in here. So I'm gonna lighten up my pink a little bit with that white. I'm gonna mix a lighter pink off to the side here. And right in here, I'm just gonna pull some of that white. Is that? Oh, give me a second here.
Oh, Lord. It's gross.
My computer, like the plug-in dropped some. Started to go low on my battery. Plug it back in. All right, so back to our light pink. Just moving some light pink in between the blue and the teal. I'm trying to be very careful not to mix it into the blue too much. How we doing?
Oh, my Lord. Mine looks gross.
Uh-oh. Show us, Aunt Lee. Need help?
I don't know if I want you to see mine or not. It's horrible looking.
Sometimes if, let's see. Hey, I see it. I see a butterfly in there. It's looking good. So just keep pulling the colors through in the empty spots and we'll fill it all in. It'll come together when you put the black in a little bit. You'll see. It'll start coming together. Okay. So this next section of the wing, we're gonna actually leave that plate. We're not gonna put too much pink in here. Just a little bit in there. What?
I already filled mine in with pink.
Oh
well.
It's gonna be really pink. You're good. The pink is pretty. I love it.
I'm gonna have some real pink. Oh, I could probably go over the pink with blue.
You can. Yeah, you can. I'm gonna put a few touches down here at the bottom. Pink. Okay, what happened? What came in?
That card, you didn't see it. How many?
There, maybe.
I feel like I messed up again.
Let me see. Let's look. Where are you at?
I made my butterfly really tiny.
Oh, okay. You did. So, okay. You probably want your whole background to, you probably need to fill in the background a little bit more,
Yeah.
right?
But
Okay.
I feel like my butterfly's messed up though.
You know what? Pull some white in just with your tiny detail brush. Just pull a little bit of white in there, with little wisps of white, kind of following the angle of the butterfly. So, let's see here. I'm going to show you this real quick. So, with your wing, that if you can decipher like what wing, what side of the wing you're on, you just pull a few little streaks of white through there. And that will really help to kind of separate some of the colors and add pops of little highlights into the wings. Okay. You're doing good, girl. Okay. I'm going to add some light blue. So I'm going to go ahead and wash that pink off of my brush and make like a baby blue color somewhere on my palette because my palette is so messy. It's crazy. I want to pull some light blue here. Right up in this middle section of the wing. I'll pull some lighter colors in there.
The white turned gray.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Okay, well maybe give it a minute. At least there'll be some lighter areas in there. But I would give it a minute, and then you can get some solid colors when it dries. Sometimes if you do too much, all the color gets mixed and it's hard to do any details. So give it a second.
Okay.
Maybe you could work on your background a little bit in that section behind it and just kind of do a little bit more of like a light baby blue behind the butterfly so that it'll really stand out. That'd be good. Work on that while your butterfly dries. I'm going to pull a little bit of white into this baby blue just to add a little flare of color in there. See if I can get you guys any closer. That works a little bit. Move you guys closer.
Okay.
So we're just kind of filling in all of the white spots at this point. So if there's any blank areas left, we want it all filled in with color. And you can kind of highlight certain areas with a little bit of white. White streaks are kind of fun to come throughout it. If you need a little teal in the middle of your blue, you can put some more in there. I'm going to pull a little bit of teal in this area here over my light blue.
There's that black to cover it with. It's so close to my butterfly.
Some solid green and white in there too, if you want to have another color in there. Just lighten up your green a little bit with the white. You can pull
This is pretty.
some brighter green in there.
I don't have too much white. Okay.
Yeah, it comes in layers. Sometimes you have to go over what you did if you had too much. How are you guys doing out there?
Great.
Good.
Debbie must have went to the next page because I don't see her. So Debbie, where you at?
Oh, I see you. Oh, you got muted? Did you mute yourself?
I had my pink. I messed my pink up.
Did you mute yourself, Mom? Hello.
Oh, I hear her now.
Okay. Well,
Oh, I just went.
There she is.
I hear you now. Did you
Okay, you hear me?
yourself?
Wait.
Yeah.
No.
I see green. Okay.
Yeah, I'm adding few areas of the brighter green.
Oh, God. That black is sure gonna help me out a little, I think.
Yeah, it will.
Could help me a lot, I think.
Help us all out. Yeah.
Bye.
Okay.
No,
I don't even know where the,
I got a mess going on.
I did. I had to wash my hands.
Are we going to take a break for a few minutes before potty breaks?
Oh yeah, go for it. You want to take a break? Go for it. Yeah. We can pause for a few minutes. We'll just kind of chat for a minute. Finish up on our butterfly. You're good.
I'm gonna redo some
Get back.
I had to redo some things here.
You
I
did-
messed up my lower wing.
Oh no.
That-
Oh my goodness.
my wings are horrible. I'm hoping this black is gonna help it out. Cause it doesn't look.
So my paint ran. Look at my.
Where are
What?
you? Oh,
You see the runs? It's running right down through the
ran.
middle of the.
No. The body. It looks
I'll
like
have
the
to-
body of the butterfly went down.
It
Oh,
did.
yeah, Kath-
It went right through it.
You need some titanium white in there.
Well,
What'd
I'm
you say?
gonna. I didn't do a very good job, I don't think, of getting color behind my butterfly. So I think I'll just kind of try and. Ooh, looks like it already dried on there. Oh well.
One girl, Alicia did really good on hers.
What's nice with acrylic is once it dries, you can paint over it.
Yes.
That's what I'm doing.
It's very
Oh
nice.
yeah,
My
yeah.
butterfly looks okay, but my top left is sad.
I'm having to go over here. Did not want to add butterflies. Adding.
Pauline, I haven't seen Pauline. Pauline's, let me see yours.
Oh, beautiful.
Gone?
That's good. I like it. Yeah.
Nice.
Wait.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait to
Good.
see them all with the black on there. It's gonna be great.
I know.
I know. Donna, let me see yours.
How do I do that?
Just turn it right in front of you.
Just hold
Take
it
it-
right in front of your face.
Do what?
What happened?
Okay, here's mine.
Like this? I don't
Beautiful,
know.
Mom.
Mine.
See it.
Ooh, Donna, that looks good. Hold it up a little bit more. That looks good.
I'll go down a little bit.
My butterfly looks good, but look at this. That looks
Oh,
sad.
and you don't want to see.
It does not look right like hers at all.
Mine is nothing like hers.
Mine
Mine
doesn't
is
either.
all gonna be a little different. Mine
Hey,
doesn't
Deb,
look like that.
Debbie, let me see yours. Deb, let me see yours.
Let me see Debbie's.
Yeah.
Where are you at? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's beautiful. I love it. Okay.
Oh, I don't know about beautiful. I don't know about that word. Beautiful is good.
Beautiful butterfly. All right. Are we all back from potty breaks?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a break. Your butterflies at this point should kind of be filled in with color. We can make some adjustments as it dries. So if it's too wet right now to do any more details, don't worry about that. But what we'll do now is kind of move to the side here, and we're gonna add a few more sprays of pink in there, maybe a couple flicks of white, just to kind of highlight the edges and make it really pop, okay? So we'll wash off our brush, and I'm gonna go back to my, the square top brush again. Wash it off really good. We may have to dump water in.
Hey, Bob,
Not pretty good.
you come here.
You got to help her, huh?
Oh yeah.
He has to help me. He gets up a lot faster than I do. When you're on a cane, things are very different for you.
I know.
Anyway. Okay. I want to put some green in mine.
Yeah. So I'm just have some pink on my brush. Okay, we're gonna do bright pink, no white attached. All right. We're going to I'm gonna show you the sample up close. We're just gonna add it to the corners to make a pop of color up here. Okay. So we don't want to have we don't want it to overpower everything. We're just gonna highlight. Okay? So we're adding a little bit to our brush, and we're gonna come up here and very lightly pull it into. If you did little sprays of white already in there, you can go over the white areas, or you can just see if it'll cover some of your background.
I'm Maddie. What?
Okay, that's fine.
A little added touch. Up there. Just pulling it in down the side a little bit.
Okay, that looks better.
Yeah.
I just don't know what to do with the middle part.
Where at?
It just didn't get jagged enough. Like your jag.
The ends? Okay.
Yeah, the ends.
Yeah.
We're gonna sharpen it up with some black too. So if it didn't get too much, we'll do it with the detail brush. We're gonna go in there and pull some black around those edges to make it even sharper, okay? So I wouldn't worry too much. Okay.
What do you want to do?
We're going all the way down to the blue and everything?
Yeah, you can kind of skip a few. I didn't put it a lot in here, just a little,
Okay,
a little
okay.
bit. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So there's the pink. All right.
Jade, how are you doing?
So
Huh?
How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Okay.
it's filling it. You're filling it in. It's looking good.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to be doing the black here in a little bit, and that will help to define your butterfly too. And then after everything to dry, like you can't put any details in now. Like Pauline was saying earlier, you can always go over it with a little fine detail brush and just paint in some colors into that butterfly after we traced it with the black and everything. So we'll have to probably wait till it dries, but yeah, there are no mistakes, right? No little accidents.
Happy little accidents.
That's Bob Ross, I'm pretty sure.
Bob Ross.
All right. So now we're going to go into adding some black detail, you guys. This is where you're going to have to test out what brush for you will work the best, okay? For me, I think I'm going to use my large brush for now. That's because I know how to make it get really sharp edges. But I do have a little detail brush that I am trying to locate. Oh, here it is. It's on the floor. My little round tip detail brush might help with this too. So have that handy. Whatever, if you were feeling like you were getting a good edge with this one, you could try it. But if you were not getting good edges with this big one, don't use it. Everybody's is a little different, so. We're gonna pour some black on our palette. If you have not done so, we're now allowed to pour black.
Okay. Oh, thank you, teacher.
Yeah. All right. So make sure your brush is clean and then dried off.
You put some green already in your back sides. Have you probably put green over there on the sides? Over in this area? Did you put green in this area?
Oh, there you are. Sorry, I was trying to find you. Where?
Oh.
Yeah. Yes. You can add green in there for sure. I would. Add some pops of green in there.
I'm going to after a while. I think you need some green.
Really, you could wait until later too if it's kind of just blending into the background because it's just too wet. Wait for a little while. Wait till it dries. All right. So I'm going to load up my brush with a little bit of black. I want to make sure it's not thick, but I want to make sure that the bristles are all coated. So if you're using a bigger brush, I kind of pull it a few times through the black to make sure that it's in there really good. But I want my bristles to be really close together so I can form a very straight line, okay? And we'll go ahead and start with the outline of this butterfly, okay? And we'll just stay as thin as you can. Most of the butterfly is, it's covered with the black all the way around the edges, but if you'll see, some of the lines are thinner, and then toward the edge, the back of the wings here, it gets a lot, like there's a lot more in here that you can pull down into the wings, okay? So keep it kind of thin in areas, and then maybe a thicker line for the middle. So kind of alternate how strong you're pulling through the black, okay?
Not too much.
Make it wispy. So we'll stay with the line here. I'm gonna follow my mark. And I'm not really worrying too much if I have a solid line or not. I'm kind of wisping it in there myself. So it's up to you in how, you know, exact you want to be. But I'm gonna go ahead and outline this middle section here where the wing is, like, where you can see where the wing splits.
Later.
And I'm noticing with this flat top, I'm not going to be able to follow the curve of the wings very well with this one. So I'm just going to outline the sides, and then I'll switch brushes for the here. So I'm going to go ahead and go down to the bottom and outline here. Start over there. And then there is also another section in here. If you see where there is a little cut here, you can see where the stencil had in there. That's where.
So you're basically doing the outlining right now, right?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Pulling that through.
What? You messed my thing up.
All right. So I'm going to change to a different brush here, my medium-sized brush for now. I'm washing off that big brush so I can go around the edges of the butterfly up here. Okay. All right.
I'm gonna make that one.
So I'm gonna go ahead and go trace the outline of the wings here so I can get a nice curve.
I don't know, man. Go look for one. Look over here. Huh? Go over here and look. I think I'm gonna stop doing my stuff.
You kind of keep it thick. And I am kind of bubbling it a little bit around, like making smooth ridges around the butterfly's wing up here. It's not a solid line. I'm kind of making my brush go in and out a little bit and making it a little bubbly. Okay, so there's some texture.
You can fix them. That's pretty.
So you're doing the black on the edges? Is that what you're doing?
Yep, I'm just outlining it with a smaller brush here along the edges.
Can you put up near the screen so I can see?
Right there, yeah. So right now I'm just trying to make a nice edge, and then I'll start to kind of pull it into the butterfly's wings with the other brush. But right now I'm just gonna kind of make a nice edge around the wings. Okay.
More died than
So if you have a thicker outline on there right now, you can kind of use your brush that you have, that medium size, and pull some of the black into the wings. That's what I'm going to do now. And I'm going to see if I have enough here. Just want to make sure there's some sharper edges and you don't go too far in. Remember, some of them are going to be longer. You're going to have longer lines here and there. So just ease into it because you're going to overpower your butterfly with black if you're not careful. So start small and then you can kind of add more if you need.
So what happens if you do put too much black in?
If you put too much black in there, you will want to go over it probably a little later. So leave that section alone, like maybe take off the excess black with a little bit of paper towel and then let it dry. Once it dries, you can put like white over it and then another color and just kind of fill it in. So just like move to another section for now. But yeah, you can always go over it again. I'm gonna pull this forward here.
I'm doing okay.
I'm doing okay. I think this is my first time making like a big painting that I actually did good on. I got my other painting in my complaint.
Closer. Closer there. The zigzagging. It's fun. Do you guys see your butterfly coming to life yet?
Little bit. It is.
Coming?
It looks a lot better. I'll say that right now. Woohoo!
And you can also see on the sample, once it's kind of dry, you can add some flares of white into your black too to make it less black if there's too much in there. So. Y'all got pretty quiet. We must be concentrating.
I am.
Yeah.
Because the black is a pretty dangerous color to mess up.
I know, right? It seems so good. I know.
You make your pink so bright. Your pink is super bright.
It is really bright. I wonder if it's the
color of your pink.
What? The quality, yeah. So I have two different types of pink. What the one that I used today it's an Artist Loft, it's level 1, but it's a lot better than I have another one that I use too. It's so thin that I have to double layer it. So you may have to double layer on your what?
Do you buy it online or what do you?
Michaels, you can get this online. Yeah. I did buy this while the store was open. So yeah, I mean you can't walk in there, but you can buy it and then pick it up. But I can send you a link afterward too. What one do you have? Is it a Craft Smart or it's a smaller one, isn't it? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So I'll send you a link. This is Artist Loft. I like to use them. They're really affordable as well. Anyways, I do this for a lot of my paintings, but they do have two different types. One of them is just it's too thin, but I think actually now they're only selling, Artist Loft is only selling this neon pink, so you can't go wrong with this one. It's a thicker one. Okay.
You want this? From this?
What? No, you didn't grab my paintbrushes.
Put some white with my black, that'll sure make it pop. I
Yeah,
think so.
it will. So it'll be a few minutes and then it'll be ready for that. Okay. So we can do the body of the butterfly, or the, yeah, his little body over here too. You might want to use your little round tip brush to fill him in. It depends on what size your canvas is. This is, I'm kind of struggling. Stay in the lines here.
This one, and then use black. Use black careful.
So I'm going to move to my little round tip brush for the details here on this guy.
What? What? The end of what? The game? What game?
You kind of make this part a little wormy. He's a little bumpy. So he has some curves, you know what I mean?
Like the chunky brush.
Yeah, the chubby brush. So while you're painting his body in, I'll add a few lines into his middle side just to show that he has some detail in there. It's very faint, but do you see those white lines in there?
Yeah, I do. I see, yeah.
Just a few, again, little tiny lines. Add some highlights in there. White.
White.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it'll turn a little bit gray because it's a dark, the black is so fresh, but just add some lines in there. See if it works for you. You may have to wait until he dries, but I think I did it well.
Yeah, I have to. I just messed him up a bit.
Much.
Oh, that's okay.
Kind of like it while the technique, while it's a little bit, the black is still wet, you can kind of etch it in, and if you make too much like a bold white streak, you can kind of go over it and make it a little grayer. So you'll have some gray areas in there, and that's fine. Kind of keep working in his ridges.
That made it better.
What?
I put some white, was a bit wet, and I just went ahead and worked it just gray, so it makes it never look better.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, mine is gray, gray too.
More distinct. Good.
You can go back over it with some sharp white edges if you want to later, or add it in now, but you will have some gray in there, and that's okay. It'll help to blend. So I'm gonna add a few dots toward the end here, and then maybe a few highlights on his head, and you kind of want that gray feel again. I'm kind of just wiggling it in there.
Oh yeah, that's much better. Instead of a black head. You don't want a black head. You have to pop it.
Right? Who wants black? All right, and then I did throw in a little bit of blue to the underside of him, like his belly, the bottom side. So I'm just kind of pulling in, again, if you do too many pass-throughs, you'll lose it, but you can pull in some blue right under his head, just a little bit there. And then a few underneath his belly, just here and there, to add some color in there.
I got his body's fat.
His body's fat. Hey, it's okay. You have a fat body.
Well, it on this, yeah, this should have been more skinnier. Yeah.
Mine's fatter than yelling. Don't worry about it.
Zoom here.
Okay. It's 11:30 for Donna. I said it's 11:30 for Donna.
So you can do some little antennas coming off of his body too.
Great.
And you want to just make sure you don't have very much black on there. You could even have a little bit of white in it to make them kind of wispy looking, not so solid black. So maybe just add a little bit of white to your black.
We're at Jay.
So his little antennas are kind of coming off. Do you see the two little lines there?
Oh, I see. Okay, I see. Okay.
Okay.
Well, mine didn't have it on mine.
Oh, it wasn't. No, you'll have to add them in. So I didn't have that pencil. So at the top of his head, kind of draw two little wispy lines coming out.
If there's some green in here. I'm not sure I can do this with my hand like this.
And when I'm trying to stay straight with my lines, and this is kind of wiggly too. You can actually do a wiggly line. It doesn't have to be straight. I put my pinky against the canvas, and then it helps my hand to get sturdy. So just kind of rest a little pinky where it's dry, and then you can kind of pull up and do his little antenna. Okay. All right. So
what dress? The black.
There's also a few areas of this butterfly where there is some black in the middle of his wings. If you want to add that in there.
Yeah, I already did that.
Okay, good.
And colors.
Kind of fill in where you need to, and then we're going to move to the outside of the painting, okay?
One color. I'm saying gray. Okay, I think you're right. Is that?
No,
Down here at the bottom too of the butterfly where your wings are, you might do a few little accents. I don't know if you can kind of see. There is a few little light gray sprays just coming from his body to fill in and do some texture in there, but it's hard to see. Can you see those little lines in there?
Yeah.
Just a few light gray lines if you want to add that in there with a detail brush.
No, Brayden. Not yet, baby. It has to dry, okay?
Yeah, just gotta dry, okay?
You remember to go with the flow of the butterfly's wings too. So if you're going down.
I feel like my antenna looks really big.
Your butterfly?
Like, no, my antenna for the butterfly.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's beautiful. It's coming together really nice. So you can eliminate it when it dries and kind of put some purple on top of it. It's looking really pretty, Jade. I love it. I love it.
The black made it much better.
Yeah, it's popping now. Okay. We got some of those details in there. And now we're going to move to the edges where we need to, sorry, can you see my face? Where we are going to put the black into just the edges. So remember, it's wispy, it's not solid. We want to keep it very wispy. If you want to use that small detail brush, that might help. Or you can go back to your flat top. I'm going to go to my flat top because I do like the way the edges look. So you see here, I'm going to try to get over here. It's just here and there, just a few. Some of them are thicker, some of them are thinner, kind of like with our outline of the butterfly. So it's not solid. I want it to be wispy, and there is some places on here that don't have black around it. See, there's not a black edge on all of these. It's just here and there to highlight some. Like, see, this pink doesn't have black.
But you're doing the side of the brush, right? Side?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would use it the thin, however you get the thinnest lines, okay? So I'm going to wash off my little tiny detail brush, and I'm going to go to my flat top for now. We'll see if I need to change it.
I'm going to try the flat top. I'm not real good at it.
Try a little corner and just see so that you don't overpower it. No, it's
Too
crazy.
thick.
Yeah.
It's too thick for me.
Is it? Okay.
It was, yeah.
Little one. Whichever one is easier. Okay. So I'm just gonna, and it's flicking, like the way I hold my brush, I put my finger on the top. Okay. So it's looking, you want it skinny. I put my finger on the top and I flick. I just kind of flick down. Okay. So I'm not gonna, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just kind of flick, you can flick up into the black, into the colors.
See how this right here didn't get filled in right there.
So now this is going to be where you're going to be layering a little bit. We might have to layer a little bit of color over this black if it gets too thick, okay?
Yeah, I see that. I have to.
Yep. You might also add a touch of white to your brush, and this kind of helps to blend that black.
Are you done?
No. I'm about to dry.
If you want to go hang out with Zara on the computer, you can.
I don't know my phone is.
Why don't you call it? If you want to go hang out with Zara, you can.
This person down here did a really good. Alicia's really good.
Do what?
Oh yeah, it's looking awesome down there, you guys. Woohoo! Alicia, good job.
Oh, this. Never mind.
I'm not going any scans. I'm taking a break.
Huh?
I'm not going on any scans. I'm taking a break.
And that's okay for her to take a break. You need to take a break.
How's that coming, you guys?
I keep a little bit.
Okay.
See?
Okay, yeah. I see some more color popping over there. Pretty. What part are you working on right now?
Huh?
What part are you working on right now? The corner?
Just out here and over here.
Awesome. Okay.
I want to find my butterfly needs to dry so I can add more. It's too dark, so I need to let it.
Yeah.
Let's go back later once I get different colors and go back and add a little bit more.
Yep, that's smart. For sure. So once we have some of that black in there, we're gonna let it dry, and we'll probably go back over to the butterfly and do some white white details while the black kind of dries for us. You guys still working on the black? How are you doing?
I'm done as much as it's gonna look.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
This one has to be hung up, that's for sure.
Oh, Delina. I understand though.
Yeah,
I have
that
some-
back-
Okay. So we're gonna pull through some white. If your black on your butterfly is drying, if there's a wet area, you probably shouldn't go over the wet part, but you can kind of start adding some highlights here and there, just a few sweeps of white. If it does mix with the black that's wet and adds a little gray tone to it, that's fine. Just stay light with it. Mine's pulling a little bit of gray in there too, and it looks fine. A little bit of white through here. Okay, so this white also, I'm going to come over here and add a few sprays of white. Little highlights here and there. Just a few. Okay. Everybody's so quiet.
I know.
We're concentrating. I know I am.
Getting all those details in.
Oh, so you guys family? Oh, so you guys a family? Family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is nice, isn't it? Oh, great. So now just kind of looking at your picture, you just see where you want to add any more flares of color. If you're feeling good about it, we're going to spray paint really soon. So if you need to put a few more touches of detail in there, you can. But I love this part because it really makes your, kind of like the black, it makes your painting pop even more with the sprays. So it's kind of fun. You will want some clean water for this. So dump your water out. And I have a cup over here that I'm going to dump it out in. And refill your water. So that's something we could do right now. I'll dump mine. I'm going to fill it with some fresh water. Okay, so to make the paint that flings, you just want to add a little bit of water to your paint. So you don't want a lot. Just find a section of your palette that might be clean. Pull some white. Get some white on your brush. And pull it over to an empty spot on your palette. So I have a little spot here that's clear. And I'm going to add some clear water to it. So I'm going to water it down just a little bit. And it'll fling a little better with a tiny bit of water. So I'm just adding.
But you don't want to do that until you're done touching up your butterfly, right?
Yeah, you might want to. You want to do your little touches first. Yes.
Okay. So you add water to it, is what you're saying? I'm probably going to use a toothbrush.
Yeah, that will probably fling really good. So watered down white, and that's why we wanted that clean water so that it doesn't look murky.
Right.
Paint water all over. All right. So now our crazy brush, we are not going to wet our brush before we dip it into this white, okay? So we want it really stiff, and so dry is better. So go ahead and add it to your
So
water.
if you're using a toothbrush, the same thing, dry is better?
Yeah, don't wet it.
Okay.
And then once you have it, you're going to point it at your canvas. So tilt it forward toward the canvas. And I'm not going to spray you, but duck. You're going to pull back on the bristles to spray. So you're going to pull it backward and let it go. Okay. So
Now,
So what are we doing with, so what are we doing? I had to get water. What are we doing with that now? How you do that?
Okay, so we're just doing a little watered down paint to fling. It'll fling better if you have a little bit of water in with you. So right now we're working on white. So
Okay.
I just put a little bit of white paint off to the side, a little bit of water, mixed it in, and with a different brush. And then I used a dry, the crazy brush is what we're going to use now to fling that water, or fling that watered down paint onto your canvas. So once you pull back, you should see some of that white start to appear on your canvas, and it's so fun. Are you doing it?
We are.
It's
That
fun.
is fun.
Yes, just don't spray your neighbor.
They're not close enough.
I know.
Mine's across the street.
Trying to hit you, Kathy.
And Dylan's in the next building.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry, Polly. Sorry, Donna. I just got
there. You can also
Joey,
spray some of the what? Interrupted somebody. You can also spray some of the butterfly with this background paint, the splashes, okay?
I did.
Good. Yeah. Splashes are just all over. Okay.
Stop reading.
So have fun with this. Once you do the white, you can add.
So you put water in your white paint. Is that what you
Yep. Yeah, just off to the side somewhere. Put a little bit of water on your brush and mix it with the white paint and fling it. And then once you're done with that, we're gonna add a little bit of pink to this mixture and do a light pink spray. I'm adding a little bit of pink to my watered down white. Some more water in there.
No, Brayden, leave it alone.
I've got a very light pink here. You can also do solid pink with white as well. So for now, I'm just doing the light pink sprays. Bringing it all over. Go ahead and dip into some bright pink too and try the same thing. If you want bright.
I think I added too much water.
Maybe. Okay.
I don't know.
I know I did the first time.
So you just want, oh, whoops. Yeah, you have a little streak. You can dab it off with a paper towel maybe. Just dab at it. Or if you like it, streaks are kind of fun. You could dab it and then maybe put a little bit of background color over it if it looks smeared.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll run. If it's too runny, it will run down your canvas. Okay. So solid pink.
Come on, pink.
Oh, great.
You can also, if you're really careful, it might backfire on you, so test it out. You can hold your finger out and kind of hit your finger, and it'll splash, hopefully, at your canvas and not at you. But I'm not guaranteeing anything.
Okay.
Okay, so you did white
I'm sorry.
first, huh?
Yeah, I started with white.
Fun.
You know what? At distance, it doesn't look too bad, but when you get up close, oh my goodness.
Sometimes you have to just step away anyways, right? Step away. All right.
Okay.
Donna?
Okay.
Where is Tonka?
So the last color that I would say, or I guess it's not a color, it's black. You can spray black at your canvas and it is really fun. It adds a little bit of texture in there.
That sounds fun.
Can you see the black in mine? I don't know. Some of that black in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just not overpowering everything, but it adds a little bit of flair. So just be careful if it don't add too much, but it is a nice touch if you would like to add that in there. And then make sure that you sign your painting, and we need to take a group picture before everybody leaves, if you can, if you're willing. Just water down that black.
So where did Donna go?
Is she still there? Oh, she might have.
Donna? Oh no. Where'd you go?
We
Little
did
stinker?
a couple people.
And you said you put little teeny bit of black on it, huh? Yeah. Oh, it actually looks pretty cool.
It does. But I sure messed up that one black thing here.
Okay, Lillian, where are you?
Yeah, she has to be.
I gotta do something here.
Oh,
I made a
I think I
boob.
got too much.
I
Too
made a
much
boob. I got
on mine.
There she is.
Had a few people type out a message. I don't know why we had so many people muted. Oh, there, Lillian. Oh, Jessica, sorry. I don't know why it keeps muting for you. I have oh, good. Oh, did I do it again? Can you? Okay, we're good now? Okay, I don't know why it keeps muting.
Okay, I better stop. I'm putting too many sparkles on there.
Better?
Oh, there.
Yeah,
I just
my goodness. Have you muted the whole time?
Automatically does it.
I think you're right.
I made a line. Oh well.
I
Moving
definitely
along.
didn't do it on purpose, Jessica. It's all right.
That's okay.
Are you guys having fun?
Yes.
Let me see yours. Is it finished?
For the most part.
Oh, yay. It's gorgeous. It's pretty. I love it. I
And
love
then
it.
my best friend, Sammy.
Woohoo, Sammy, good job.
I'm done with mine.
Oh, wonderful, Pauline. Look at yours, Jade.
Yay.
You guys.
I'm
Oh,
done
that's
with
good.
mine.
Evan family, those look awesome. So are you guys ready for a little group
Here's
picture?
mine.
Woohoo.
Here's mine.
Good job.
Here's mine.
Good job, you guys.
Hey, Karen, here's mine.
Ellen, good job.
Good.
Oh my goodness.
That's good, you
Oh my
guys.
goodness. I love yours over here. I'm unmuting you. Hope. See her.
Pauline.
Okay. Okay. Ugh.
The Daltons.
That's good.
You guys, good job. Okay, so if you want to hold up your paintings and maybe hold your picture up there, or hold your painting and your picture and your face. If you can pop your face in there, we'll take a screenshot.
Here.
Okay.
We're going to turn the
I
computer.
can do both.
I can't really
Hey,
hold
Kat.
my painting, but my painting's kind of there. So I'm going to try
We're going
to,
to get everybody in it.
yeah, everybody come up to the front if you can. Show us your
There we
painting
go.
and a big smile. Good job, everybody. Okay, I'm going to do a screenshot here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ready?
Okay.
Couple of them. Woohoo! One more.
Yay.
And then let me do one with my phone just in case because time. Okay, I did one. I figured out how to do the screenshot, which was really cool on your computer.
Cool.
All right, 1, 2.
Did you see all 3 of ours?
I don't think that's gonna work. Yeah, I can see 2 of yours. Is it both of yours?
Okay, don't go away. I want to do screen print.
Smile, everybody.
Maybe.
Maybe.
There we go. Oh, I got Debbie's.
I got
That's
quite a
funny.
few. Did everybody get the screenshots that they wanted? Oh, you guys did so good, you guys. Good job. You got Julia. Good job.
Kathy. Let me
What?
see yours, Kathy.
Oh,
Kathy, too. Let me see yours.
Felicia.
I'm good. Okay.
So I got all the
Good.
pictures I could take. But so
Good,
you guys
Polly.
did so good. Thank you for joining
Yeah.
us again. This was a lot of
So,
fun.
thank you.
So tag me any of your family pictures that you have taken. That was so fun to see all your pictures last time. Good job, Felicia.
Yeah, I liked it. It was fun.
Yeah. That was great. Good job, Kathy.
Looks a little bit
Oh,
better
yeah.
when the flashes look really good.
Right. Well, thank you for your time. Thanks for joining us, you guys. Have an amazing night. And
Thank you for
see you
the
next
fun
time.
night.
All right.
I
You
don't
too.
know.
Thank you.
I don't see you. Bye,
Thank
Polly.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Deb.
Bye.
Jade, what was your name? Jade? No.
Jade, yes. Jade, good
Jade.
job.
Hi, Kathy. See you later.
Bye,
Jackie.
Woohoo!
Hi, Jackie.
I'm ending. Look, I'm not trying to boot you off, but I am.
See ya.